Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So quite a lot of reports were stemming from Italy quite recently, saying that we have reportedly made Massmilanio Allegri as our primary candidate to replace Ole Gunnar Solsjaker at Manchester United. Of course, if Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is sacked by the football club. Now, reportedly, if this bad run of form does continue to persist, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could reportedly, be gone by Christmas. I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans do believe Solskjaer could be sacked by Christmas. I also believe a lot of industries, believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, could be sacked by Christmas. But despite our bad start to this season, I still think Manchester United are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think Ed Woodward is still convinced, that he can turn things around at the football club. Now, we do know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is our fourth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era, and of course, if we was to sack him, he would be the fourth manager to be sacked since the Alex Ferguson era. But like I did say, we haven't really got all the structure, to keep sacking managers. Like I said, 3 managers have already been sacked already since the Alex Ferguson era, and I am still, backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all the way. We haven't really seen much improvements under Solskjaer now than what we saw under Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, and of course David Moyes. But yeah, the vast majority of Manchester United fans now, do want him out, because we have enjoyed a really bad start to this season. We're 6 games into the Premier League season. We've won 2, we've drawn 2, and of course we have lost 2. So in that aspect, we've only registered 8 points from 6 league games, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our given standards and that. But despite due to our inconsistency, like I did say to you on one of my videos the other day, I think the vast majority of the blame stems from the board, because they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. But I think it's a bit of a mixture, to be quite honest, everyone's got to take the blame. I think the vast majority of the blame is from the board, but I think also some of the blame stems from Ed Woodward, because obviously Ed Woodward is the vice chairman, and obviously he oversees our transfer business and that, and quite a lot of Man United fans are also demanding Ed Woodward out. Also, some of the blame does stem from certain players, because they have to take responsibility on the pitch. I think also some of the blame does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because some of his tactics are questionable. So I think it is a bit of a mixture, but the majority of the blame does stem from the board, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was to be sacked by Manchester United, do you think Massmilanio Allegri would be a good replacement for him? Obviously, we do know he's the former Juventus manager now. Obviously, he's been managing, I think, for around 16 years now as Massmilanio Allegri. Obviously, he started his managerial career in 2003. Obviously, he has spent the entirety of his managerial career, in Italy. He also spent all his the entirety of his playing career in Italy. Obviously, before he was a manager at Juventus, he managed Juventus for around 5 years. Obviously, the majority of his silver he won, obviously, came at Juventus. Obviously, before he was at Juventus, so I think he managed AC Milan for a good 4 years. Also managed Cagliari for a couple of years. I think he also managed Saluzzo, so has managed a lot of Italian teams as Massmilanio Allegri. So do you think he would be the right man for Manchester United? But yeah, a lot of reports were coming out about that yesterday. But for me, I am still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager. Don't get me wrong, I've got huge doubts about him. I don't know if he's got the stature, to get Manchester United, in that commanding position and that. And like I did say, reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years. Also, with the dimension and the history of this football club, we should be much more of a commanding position, than we're in now and that. But I have got huge doubts about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said, I do credit him in some aspects. He's got a lot of trust with in his young upcoming players. He did recommend 3 good players into the squad, throughout the course of the summer. Spent over £140 million. And I also credit him, that he did get rid of a lot of, the deadwood, throughout the course of summer. So we did get that summer clear out, that we did want. But I still believe as we speak now, these still problematic players at Manchester United, that, probably do need to be moved on in January and, of course, next summer. But for me, yeah, there's definitely no still players there that do need to leave the football club. But for me, I think we do need to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least this season. I think we need to give him at least a couple more windows, to make a further more investment in that, because you can still quite frankly say, he's in the process of rebuilding. But the three players he did bring into the football club, we have seen glimpses of what good signs they've proven to be so far. Daniel James has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's already scored 3 goals so far this season. And Wan-Bissaka, he's been fantastic. Some people believe, he's been one of our most consistent signings, and Wan-Bissaka. And also, we got Harry Maguire, and I think he's settled in, really, really well. So it was good in the aspect, that we did address, some of the problematic areas, but we didn't address all the problematic areas in the squad. But it was going to be always hard for us, to address all the problematic areas and one summer transfer window, because analysing it, this is only been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Manchester United manager. But yeah, he needs more time to make a further investment in January and of course next summer. Solskjaer's confirmed, he does want to stick to the policy, of signing young British players, like he did do earlier on in the summer. But Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and he did, really, really well in that. So, like I said, he has got that proven pedigree as a player. But my other element of concern about Solskjaer is, he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not really at the highest level, and that this is something else, that does concern me. He was at Mould, he won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould and that. Obviously, don't forget he managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years. He actually watched some of this team this day and age, grow and develop. And also, he only managed Cardiff, for a short period of time. So his tenure, wasn't successful at Cardiff and that. But I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. And hopefully, I hope to say, that his tenure, can become successful at Manchester United. Solskjaer's actually, overall nearly been at the football club a year. I think he's been at the football club now, is it about 8 or 9 months. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in December of last year, following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho. Obviously, the first Solskjaer came in as interim manager at the football club. Obviously, we paid a couple of £1 million to Mould, by the way, to get him in as interim manager. In that 3-month period, Solskjaer did really, really well. The results were good, the performances were good. He was getting the best out of these group of players. Won 14 games out of 19. Even won his first 8 games and that. And and he went really, really well when he was the interim manager. He exceeded expectations. But since he got the job in March early on this year, basically, everything has just basically, seemed to have all gone wrong. To be quite honest, and obviously we paid a bit more money out to Mould, obviously, to give Solskjaer the job permanently and that. But I don't think he can take Manchester United forward. A lot of people, believe, he won't last at the football club. But like I said, he wasn't backed enough, throughout the course of the summer. We didn't get all, the players, that we did want to recommend in to the football club. But I did say, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League, I think that was one of the main reasons why we didn't get all the players that we did want in. Because I did say, players, would have had reservations about joining Manchester United. But it's good that Ed Woodward, is still, willing to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that I'm still backing him as long as he's as long as he is, Manchester United manager. But like I did say, regardless of our managers, we're never going to replicate, what we did under Ferguson. No one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. Take if you want, look at it as well. Ferguson didn't win, don't forget Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. When he got appointed in from Aberdeen back, was it in 1984? Was it 1985? Something like that. He didn't win out in his first 4 years, and at that point he was on the verge of getting the sack, but he didn't. We stayed with him, and look what we did. We had 20 odd years of success, under Alex Ferguson. I did say now I hope this team at this day and age, can replicate what the team did under Alex Ferguson. But I just have got huge doubts about it. But I didn't just say at the end of last season, and I did say at the start of this season, our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4. Like I said, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations, but the way things are going at the moment, we're going to even struggle to finish in the top 6 and that. And obviously, if this bad run of form also continues to persist, I think we could enjoy a worse season this season than what we actually saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. Obviously, we failed to win in Silverware. We failed to qualify for the Champions League. I think we finished around 32 points behind Man City. I think last season was the lowest we finished since the David Moyes era, because obviously back under the David Moyes era, I do think we finished 7th. But yeah, we can't enjoy a worse season this season, of course, than what we saw last season. But obviously, you can basically say that was also a mistake from Manchester United. I say we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job too early in that. A lot of people were saying, we should have waited until the end of last season to give him the job. Some people said maybe we should have waited till some point of this season, to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. Because don't forget, it was going really, really well. Of course, when he was interim manager of the football club. But yeah, I have, got huge doubts about him, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, like I said, we have got big ambitions for the future, and obviously, those ambitions are obviously to get back to winning silverware, and that obviously, this is something Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring back to the football club. He wants to bring that fear factor back to the football club. He wants to bring that winning mentality back to the football club. But obviously, none of them have been there, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But yeah, in my opinion, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to last as Manchester United manager. But I think, the board did assure them at the start of the season that regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job should be safer at least this season, because I think the board realised that, they didn't back, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. But yeah, so I also did say to you on one of my videos the other day, the board do need to make structural changes at the football club, whether they can do that or not, I do not know. I think the board are a liability, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, and we do need structural changes with the football club. It was a huge disappointment anyway, that we didn't get a director of footballing, throughout the course of the summer, because throughout the course of the summer, there was quite a few former Manchester United players, linked to that director as well. Everyone was linked to it. Rio Ferdinand was linked to it. Obviously, Darren Fletcher and that was linked to it. There was talks of Paul Mitchell and that coming in. Obviously, I was reading reports a couple of weeks ago. Well, I was speculating, saying that Ed Woodward, still wants to appoint a new director of footballing. He reportedly identified Edwin van der Sar as his, number one priority target, to become the new director of football at Manchester United. I did say that's one of, the structural changes that we do need in the football club. And you can arguably say, if we had got that director of football in at the beginning of the summer or even midway through the summer, then maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that aspect would have been backed more than that. But I think we are still in search for a new director of football. I think Edwin van der Sar would be, if he came in, I think he would be reliable to oversee our transfers. Obviously Edwin van der Sar's got the experience, he's obviously currently CEO at Ajax. I think he's now into his 4th season at Ajax. He's Edwin van der Sar. Don't forget, he served 6 years at Manchester United when he was younger as goalkeeper, from 2005, to 2011 and that. But yeah, like I did say, we're not really known for a sacking club and that, even though 3 managers have already gone since the Alex Ferguson era and that. And we just haven't been the same team, since the Alex Ferguson era, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, we do know a hell of a lot of money is being spent into the football club. And obviously, this summer, over £140 million spent under Solskjaer, just under £400 million spent under Jose Mourinho. Obviously, we got under Mourinho, when we first recommended Mourinho in, obviously we thought it was going to be successful under Jose Mourinho, because obviously back in the day, Jose Mourinho was regarded as one of the best managers in the world, and obviously he's won stuff and that everywhere he's been. So in that aspect, he has got that proven pedigree, Mourinho. But I think, in my personal opinion, we appointed Mourinho in too late. Maybe if we'd have appointed him in when Ferguson retired, then maybe it would have been a different story. But I already give you the reasons why it didn't work out under Mourinho. Because obviously Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players. Well, some of the top players. The board weren't backing the signings, that he did, want to recommend into the football club last summer. There was no sort of transfer strategy under Mourinho, the philosophy and that wasn't right. So these are the reasons, why it didn't work out under him, despite that he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at Manchester United. But Mourinho did actually, recommend 11 players into the football club. And then obviously, Louis van Gaal, over £200 million was spent under him, and he brought a lot of players into Louis van Gaal. Actually, now the vast majority of them the vast majority of them now have left Manchester United, but there is still some of them here now. But it didn't work out under Van Gaal because obviously he didn't have the right sort of philosophy. The footballer was too good under Van Gaal. And I think Van Gaal spent, I think he lasted just around a year, was it, or just over a year at Manchester United. And under David Moyes, around what, £67 million was spent or something like that. He recommended 2 players into the football club. But yeah, Moyes, since Alex Ferguson's retirement, obviously, Moyes has had the shortest tenure in that. Moyes only lasted 10 months at Manchester United. And obviously, at the time, recommended Moyes in anyway. I knew it wasn't going to work out. Obviously, it was Alex Ferguson, that recommended him in. And that's the only thing I do, blame Alex Ferguson for. He's recommended David Moyes into the football club and that. Because they obviously recommended him, because they were both Scottish and all that. But yeah, I know it was never going to work out under David Moyes. But yeah, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. And yeah, but it just proves always spending big on players and getting them Glasgow players, doesn't always guarantee you success. And that's been proven with Manchester United in the last 6 or 7 years or so. But I did say anyway, I don't like the way the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I did say, there's... we're only early on in the season, but, you can pinpoint some games out this season so far, that Manchester United, should have arguably won because we haven't played particularly bad in certain games this season. We just, we've created a lot of chances, like it was similar to what we did last season. We created a lot of chances last season, but we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League last season and that. And, so far this season, in 6 league games, we only managed 8 goals, and that's a bad statistic, to be quite honest with you. But, in certain games, we do seem to be playing okay in that. But we're just not being ruthless enough in front of goal. We're creating chances, but we're just not being clinical enough, and we just don't seem to have that clinical element. And this is obviously something that Manchester United do need to justify. We're just not being ruthless enough in front of goal, and that does seem to be an element of concern in that. So some game, I think we definitely should have won against Palace at home. That's a game Man United should have won because we had a lot of chance in that game. We had a lot of chance in that game. We had the majority of the possession. We had over 20 odd shots. So that's a game Man United should have won. Maybe we should have won at Southampton away because I thought the first half was quite good. Wolves away, we arguably, should have won that. But yeah, you can pinpoint certain games out, that Manchester United, should have won. These some games this season where we've rode as luck and we've scraped a result. I think we was lucky to win against Leicester at home. FC Astana, wasn't the most convincing performance. But yeah, so the performances need to improve, the results need to improve, So yeah, everything needs to basically now improve at Manchester United. Obviously our away form has been terrible. Recently, we haven't won away from home. Since the game against PSG in the Champions League last season. Obviously, when Manchester United produced that miraculous comeback. Obviously, that's actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager. But in my opinion, I think we're lacking leadership in the team. Probably we need someone who's better at taking set pieces than that. But I was so infuriated. That we didn't get that midfielder in, throughout the course of the summer, because obviously, that midfield area is one of the priority areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up, and obviously we do need to, look to strengthen that midfield up in January. And the board, didn't recommend any sufficient attackers in, they didn't recommend any sufficient, midfielders in, so you can also blame them in that aspect in that. But Manchester United have definitely, got to get a midfielder in, because I was disappointed that, we didn't replace Ander Herrera and Marion Fellaini, throughout the course of the summer. I said that's Manchester United, that's something Man United needed to do. I think we also need a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and that. It's a shame that we didn't recruit a replacement for him, because I think now we are short in that attacking line, in my opinion, because obviously Lukaku's left, Alexis Sanchez has left and that. So yeah, we need to obviously, find adequate replacements, in my opinion. And I'm glad, we did get that experienced centre half, and we've just addressed the defence. I'm glad we got that right back in, but we didn't get that midfielder in, of course, that we did want. So that was very, very infuriating. But I do believe, some of the players, we was in for, throughout the course of the summer. It's probably not likely, that we will reignite our interest in some of them in January. Maybe we'll leave some until next summer, because there was a lot of players, we was in for, throughout the course of summer, who of course, we didn't manage to get. I think some Manchester United fans, would have liked Christian Eriksen at the football club. We was only tentative linked to Christian Eriksen. We inquired about getting him towards the back end of the window, if you can remember rightly. obviously, Bruno Fernandes, don't forget, he was one of our main priority targets, throughout the course of the summer. But again, didn't manage to get him. Obviously, we inquired about getting Dybala and that. Obviously, Mandzukic and that was mentioned. Obviously, we've seen them as possible replacements for Romelu Lukaku. But, it wasn't only the summer transfer window, this summer transfer window, should I say, that wasn't competitive enough. I think in the last 3 to 4 windows, we haven't been competitive enough because obviously, we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get our number one targets last summer. And, Solsjaker was talking about our recruitment policy throughout the course of the summer. And to be quite honest, analysing our recruitment policy, it is very, very poor, to be quite honest with you. But it hasn't only been this summer, we haven't been competitive enough, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I think now, analysing, I think we need at least 3 world-class signings, if we are to get back, to where we do want to be. And it's going to take us at least 2, 3, maybe 4 years, to get us back, to where we do want to be. Because I did literally say our aspirations in the next couple of seasons, will be that top 4. And I don't think we'll win the league, at least for the next 3 to 4 years. Don't forget, we haven't won the league, since 2013. Obviously, that's over 6 years ago now. And that obviously, was under the Alex Ferguson era. That was actually, in Alex Ferguson's last season, the last time, Manchester United did win the Premier League. But analysing the squad, it's nowhere near good enough, to win the league at the moment. But, despite the fact that we've had a bad start to the season, I still think, these players, that have actually, played well. Quite a lot of players have been below par. But like I said, I think Daniel James has done well. Wan-Bissaka has done really, really well. Harry Maguire's done well. I think Scott McTominay has done really, really well. Like I said, in regards to McTominay, being a long-term solution for Manchester United, I have got an element of concerns about that. And he's only 22 years of age. I don't know if he can keep the consistency up, but McTominay's deserved to keep his place in the team, reflecting on his impressive performances. I have, been very, very impressed there with McTominay. We do know... We do know in the last couple of games that actually McTominay has been playing alongside Nemanja Matic. Obviously, due to the absentee of Paul Pogba. But yeah, I have been very, very impressed with him. I think Fred as well, he stepped up to the plate in the last couple of games. I think he's done really, really well for Manchester United. Like I said, I've got the same thoughts about Fred of what I've got on McTominay. I don't know if he's a long-term solution for Man United. Fred's been at the club since last summer. We paid just under £50 million for him. He hasn't performed to the same sort of extent, as he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk, because he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but he hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. But I think we need to see more of Fred, and we need to drop Matic more. That's my overarching view on that. I think Juan Mata has done well in parts this season, when he has played for the football club. I think, Juan Mata has done really, really well. So I have been, very, very impressed with him. And yeah, so quite a few players, performed really, really well. But, don't forget, we have still got quite a few injuries in that. I think, the players that are injured, well, some of the players that are injured, I think, are close now to regaining full fitness. We do know that Anthony Martial is still out with a thigh injury. He's another player that enjoyed a great start to the season. Obviously, before he sustained his thigh injury. We do know that Martial has missed the last 4 games for Manchester United with injury, I think, in all competitions. But like I said, we know that he's not going to be playing this evening against Rochdale, but he should be, I'm hopeful, that he can be back for the Arsenal game. Analysing, Anthony Martial's career at Manchester United, I think he's, been mainly consistent. There has been periods where he's been inconsistent in that, towards the back end last season. But I think, and he's had other bad spells, but prior to that, I think he's done really, really well. He's only 23 years of age. Obviously, Martial's been here since the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's now into his 5th season at Manchester United. Obviously, he scored 50 goals for the club in all competitions. Obviously, his 50th goal came against Wolves earlier on in the season. Don't forget the club gave Martial a new 5-year deal back in January and that. But yeah, very imperative player. Like I said, he's going to be playing more central this season because it confirmed at the start of the season that Martial has been given that number 9 shirt. And they are compatible in that aspect of Martial and Rashford because they can both play in the same positions. Martial can play centrally, play out wide, and Rashford can play centrally and can play out on the flank. But, even though Martial is primarily plays off the left or out wide, I think he's more effective in that central position. So with Rashford, I think you'll see him more on the flank, when, Martial, does regain full fitness, to be quite honest here, because I have been very, very, disappointed with Marcus Rashford this season. I think in some parts he's done okay, but I don't, I don't think Rashford's performed to the same sort of extent as how Daniel James, Bissaka, Maguire, and all them, have currently played, and that nowhere near. I still say Rashford is the long-term solution for Man United. Some people, believe Rashford is overrated, but we do know in the last couple of league games that actually, Rashford has fulfilled Anthony Martial's role, and that, he obviously got a lot of criticism for his bad performance he did put out against Southampton before the international break. He hasn't been too good this season, Marcus Rashford. He was also poor towards, in the last couple of months of last season was Rashford. And to be quite honest with you, I think Mason Greenwood, would be, a much better solution than Rashford at this moment in time, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Rashford, hasn't been too great so far this season. Luke Shaw, obviously, he's out over hamstring injury. He won't be playing this evening against Rochdale. Luke Shaw, obviously, he's missed also the last 4 games in all competitions, and we do know deep down how much of an imperative player that Luke Shaw is. Luke Shaw, I think now is into his 5th season, is it, as a Manchester United player. Obviously, Luke Shaw. He's only very, very young still. He's still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, reflects on his impressive performances last season. He did win the double player of this season. And analysing the majority of Luke Shaw's career again, I think he's been mainly consistent. He's had some bad periods, during his Man United tenure. He had a bad spell under Mourinho. Also, he's sustained quite a few injuries, don't forget, as a Man United player. But we do know the difference he does make on that left-hand side and that. But he's our first choice left-back. Young's been playing on a regular basis recently. He's been mainly, it's due to Luke Shaw's absence. Ashley Young has obviously, been playing at that left back position. Obviously, Eric Bailly's a long-term absence, as you all know. He's out until the new year. Also, Fosu Mensah is out with injury. I want to give you some news as well in regards to Paul Pogba, and this is really, really good news about Paul Pogba. It has confirmed that Pogba he's fully fit, to play this evening against Rochdale. I think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has assured that Pogba will probably get some minutes under his belt this evening. Pogba's obviously missed the last 3 games in all competitions for Manchester United. Obviously, we do know that he's I think it was around 3 weeks ago, and that was he had to withdraw from the France squad, with an ankle injury, and obviously in that aspect he would have been infuriated, at that moment in time, that he couldn't represented France, because we do know that Paul Pogba does like to represent France, because he is really, really good for France, and we do know the difference, Paul Pogba does make in that midfield, when he's playing to his potential best. And when he's playing to his potential best, I can honestly say, he is one of the best midfielders in the world. He's like 2 players in one. But yeah, I still think, Paul Pogba, wants to leave Manchester United, now as we speak. So I think he could consider moving on in January, or he could consider, leaving next summer. I do believe definitely, Real Madrid, will reignite their interest in Paul Pogba without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, we're convinced him to remain at the football club at least until January, which is very, very good news. But I do believe he's still going to leave in January or next summer. Obviously, according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's just, recently, had his overarching view on it, and he actually, he's notified Real Madrid that Paul Pogba, will not be going nowhere. So he's very adamant that, Paul Pogba is not going to be for sale in January. We would generate a substantial amount, for his current departure. Obviously, we quoted out throughout the course of the summer that we wanted in the region of around 179 or 180 million pounds for Paul Pogba, and obviously, Real Madrid were not willing to meet that current valuation. So I did say that was a stumbling block of Paul Pogba, making his proposed move to Real Madrid. But yeah, Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him, throughout the course of the summer. It wasn't only Real Madrid that were in for him. Don't forget, there was talks about him making a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba, did have 4 good years in Turin with Juventus. Hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United. Obviously, PSG went in for him. There was reports emerging out the other week allegedly saying that he had agreed, a move to PSG, but reportedly his move to PSG never materialised because of the Neymar saga. I think also, Barcelona were in for him. So quite a host of clubs, were in for Paul Pogba, but the main architect was Real Madrid. Real Madrid, obviously, they spent a substantial amount throughout the course of the summer. They spent around, £300 million on 5 players. They did manage to, generate, sales of some of their players. So they did manage to, do that. So they did, generate, some money back. They got, I think they received around £100 million for the players. They did sell Real Madrid. But whether Real Madrid are willing to pay up to £180 million in January or not, I do not know. If we had to soften our stance on Paul Pogba in January, we probably would demand, the similar, figure, to what we did, earlier on in the summer. But I have been reading recent reports about Paul Pogba anyway, and it reportedly says now. And it reportedly says now, we have, begun contract talks. With Paul Pogba and that. But I was reading a report a couple of weeks ago, was it 2 to 3 weeks ago now, and it actually said, Man United, we're going to sit down, with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, over the possibility of renewing Paul Pogba's contract, and obviously, discussing, Paul Pogba's future and that at the football club. Paul Pogba has got 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year, and of course, he's on around £290,000 a week. So Paul Pogba is the highest player, well, one of the highest paid players at the football club. Obviously, if Paul Pogba anyway, wants to commit his long-term future, and sign a new long-term contract at Man United. Pogba, I think at an estimated guess, he'd obviously demand a massive increase, but I think he'd demand from between maybe £400,000 to £500,000 a week, if he was to sign a new long-term contract with Manchester United. But Pogba said back in June, which was obviously earlier on this summer, he said he wants to leave Manchester United, and he actually, publicly admitted this for the first time, and he did basically say, he was seeking for a new challenge. But, Solsjaker has spoken to Paul Pogba a lot, throughout the course of the summer, and Solsjaker actually said to Paul Pogba that he doesn't need to leave Manchester United to fulfil his current ambitions. But Paul Pogba's 26 years of age, he's still practically in his prime, he has still got a hell of a lot of development minimum in that, and we do know the difference, he does make in that midfield. Paul Pogba now is into his 4th season at Manchester United, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, he's won the Europa League and League Cup, with Manchester United, and it hasn't only been this summer that he's been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, reflecting back last summer, there was a lot of talks about Paul Pogba leaving the football club, obviously, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho, and we do know that Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But and obviously don't forget Mayfield, his brother, obviously he fueled speculation throughout the course of summer and that. Obviously he knows deep down how good he would represent Real Madrid, but he actually said, not too long ago that he's focusing now on the season with Manchester United. And he actually said a couple of weeks ago that actually, Paul Pogba had spoken to Lionel Messi from Barcelona. But Mayfield, I think, still believes that his brother, will, move on in the nearby future, and that. Obviously, Christian Eriksen was also on Real Madrid's agenda, but obviously, Real Madrid's preference is Pogba over Christian Eriksen, even though probably Christian Eriksen would have been a cheaper solution for Real Madrid. I think if Paul Pogba is to renew his contract at Man United, then I think Real Madrid's alternative will be to probably, sign Christian Eriksen on a free transfer at the end of the season, because Christian Eriksen's got his current contract with Tottenham expires, of course, at the end of the season. But I'm glad for now that Paul Pogba, is staying at the football club. I'd love it, if we could, find a way, to convince him to remain at the football club. I would be very, very delighted about that. I would be very, very delighted about that, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah. And like I did say, I said earlier on in the video, and I've been saying quite recently, I know a lot of players have now left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. We know that obviously Antonio Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years there with Manchester United. He was a long-serving player with the football club. Obviously, we do know that Chris Smalling, left the football club. Don't forget. Obviously, he's gone out on loan to Rome, and actually, Italy, has been a popular destination for the vast majority of our players that have left this summer. Smalling went out on loan to Roma. Darmian made a return back to Italy. He joined Parma. Obviously, Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku, they both went to Inter Milan. So obviously, in that aspect, they have reunited together. But we're just basically known, for overpaying for players, and then when it comes to letting them go, we let them go for next to nothing, and we've done it in recent years. There's been prime examples of it also this summer. We did it with Matteo Darmian and Ander Herrera this summer, because with Darmian, back in 2015 under the Louis van Gaal era, we paid just over £12 million, for Matteo Darmian. I know it was no surprise that I left this summer anywhere earlier on this summer, because obviously we served his two requirements of the football club anyway and that. But I'm surprised the money we let him go for. Basically, we let him go for just over £3 million. He did just have under a year left on his current contract with Manchester United. But I think we should have tried to get more. We should have tried to get more than that what we received. Maybe if we'd have got rid of Darmy maybe like a year ago or 2 years ago, then maybe we would have generated, some of them. Well, we would have probably recouped the money that we did pay for him from Torino. Maybe we could have even got more than that. So that was a shame. So in that aspect, it was bad business. And with Herrera, he had 5 successful years at Manchester United. He had some rough patches in that, but I think analysing the majority of his career, I think he was mainly consistent was under Herrera. We do know the difference he did make in that midfield, because this is a good statistic, because, the majority of the games, we won. When Ander Herrera was at the club, Ander Herrera was playing and that, so that's a good statistic. But yeah, we paid £29 million for him from Bilbao in 2014, and then obviously early on this summer, let his contract run down and let him go on free transfer. So that was, a bad business from the football club. You could arguably say Ander Herrera, was one of our best players, since the Alex Ferguson era. Your players, that left that didn't obviously, go to it. Obviously, Herrera went to PSG, as you all know. Fellaini obviously went to China in January. Actually, Fellaini, served 6 years at Manchester United. But like I said, it was a shame that we didn't get a replacement for Fellaini and Herrera. I think we need a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, maybe Alexis Sanchez and that, because I think we look short in that attacking line. Maybe Allegri and Solsjaker got a different, overarching view on that. And don't forget throughout the course of summer as well, we was in search for a right winner. We wanted to get a right winner in, for the majority of the summer. But I do believe, more players need to leave. I think Jones is one of the players that needs to leave the football club. I think we need to consider moving him on in January or next summer. Obviously, Jones has been at Manchester United now 8 years. He's now into his 9th season. Obviously, he's a Man United player. And I did say, in like the Europa League games and the other cup competitions, Jones probably, will get given his chances, but obviously he's going to find it very, very difficult to get chances in the Premier League and that. Obviously, because obviously Allegri and Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs are Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof and that. But Jones, for me, he's aging up. Obviously, he's not. I don't think he's no longer good enough, to represent the football club. So I think we need to consider moving him on in January or next summer. Don't forget, he signed a new long-term contract last season. Did Phil Jones? We shouldn't have given Jones that new long-term contract. With Rojo, he's another player that I think that needs to be moved on in January or next summer. With Marcus Rojo, he's been quite a long servant now. He's now into his 5th season, I think, at Manchester United. Obviously, Rojo's enjoyed a very difficult time as a Man United player. Mainly, we have seen parts of how good he can be in that, but I think his Man United career has been mainly affected, the amount of injuries he has sustained, because he has sustained a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player, as Marcus Rojo. Obviously, Rojo, I think, is around 29 years of age now. Don't forget, Rojo was subjected to transfer speculation early on this summer. Obviously, Marcelo Monaco and AC Milan inquired about getting him. Don't forget, actually, on deadline day, Everton had inquired about getting Marcus Rojo, if you do remember rightly. But I think, he's got under 2 years left on his contract, so we could try and cash in for him in January or next summer. So I think he's another player that does need to leave, because we've still got a lot of centre-backs in the team, despite Smalling left. We've still got around 6 centre-backs in the team. Ashley Young now, he's another player I think that needs to be moved on at the end of the season. Young has obviously passed his sell-by date, and that's obviously reflecting on his age, because Ashley Young is now 34 years of age. I think he's actually 35 next year. Obviously Young's predominantly a right back. Obviously Young is now into his, he's been here 8 years, but he's now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. So obviously he's nearly been at the football club a decade as Ashley Young. Obviously, he was our first choice right back last season. I think, he needs to be moved on at the end of the season. And Nemanja Matic, I think he's another player that needs to leave the football club, because he's another problematic player for Manchester United now. Obviously, I think Matic, has recently, give his more overarching view on things, and I think, he's becoming infuriated, with his lack of playing time at Manchester United. We do know that, obviously, Scott McTominay, is, preferred choice more than Matic now, because Matic has lost his place in the team, to Scott McTominay. Matic has been playing quite recently, like I said, due to the absence of Paul Pogba. He has been playing, as the Man U Matic, and Matic is now into his third season as a Manchester United player. He has made around 90 appearances for the club in all competitions. I think around 67 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. But Matic has got under a year left in his contract, so that means his current contract expires at the end of the season. But we do have an option, to extend it by a further year. I was reading, a lot of reports were circulating out the other week saying that up to 4 clubs, were interested in signing the Nemanja Matic. It said Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and also 2 Borussia Dortmund were interested. So in that aspect, there's a trio of Italian clubs interested in him there, and there's 1 German club that I've interested in Matic. But obviously they're orchestrating on getting him on a free transfer at the end of the season. We overpaid for Matic, we overpay for players, I thought we also overpaid for Harry Maguire this summer, but definitely Matic we overpaid for him. We paid 35 million up front with 5 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise it to around 40 million pounds. Matic, don't forget, actually was our first choice last season, but due to his inconsistency, he's no longer first choice. I think he's just too slow. He makes that midfield look totally imbalanced, and that we have seen. We have seen glimpses of how good he can be in that. Matic, he can pass the ball well in that at times, but he's just too slow in that midfield, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, for me, he's another player, that does need to be moved on by the football club. I've also, been reading recent reports now in regards to who Manchester United could look to sign in the January transfer window, and that Solsjaker definitely needs to be backed in the January transfer window, and it's very essential that we do get the players that we do want in. Reportedly, Allegri Solsjaker has identified 2 strikers he would like to recommend into the football club in January, and that is reportedly Barcelona's Ousmane Dembele and Juventus' Mario Mandzukic. And don't forget, like I said, we went in for Mario Mandzukic towards the back end, of the window earlier on in the summer. Don't forget. I think that the Manchester United board though may have reservations, about recommending Mario Mandzukic in, because obviously it's reflecting on his age. I think he's now 33 years of age is Mandzukic, even though he has had a really good career. Do you think he would be good adequate replacement for Lukaku? Well, let's put this into contention that we know for certain that obviously Mario Mandzukic is going to be a much cheaper solution than Ousmane Dembele, because if we've got any chance to get any Ousmane Dembele, we're probably have to going to pay in the excess of around £100 million. Obviously that is a substantial amount, and I think I haven't really watched Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona. I've watched him a few times, but I haven't really watched him a lot, to give you a lot of feedback on him and that. But, I know that he's become injury prone since he's become a Barcelona player. He has sustained quite a lot of injuries, especially in his first season. I think in his first season with Barcelona, he was out for the majority of the season with injury. Ousmane Dembele, he's only 22 years of age. I think he can play as a forward, but I think he's actually primarily a winner. He's Ousmane Dembele. I do believe Barcelona paid around €105 million for him a couple of years ago from Borussia Dortmund, but he actually was really good with Borussia Dortmund. It was Ousmane Dembele. Actually, when he was a lot younger, I think he began his career with Rennes. Did Ousmane Dembele? So do you think he would be the right caliber player for Manchester United? Would you be excited about the prospects of Ousmane Dembele playing alongside the likes of Rashford, Daniel James, and Martial and that? Do you think he'd do really well? Obviously, hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. Ousmane Dembele, but he's still only very young. But Mario Mandzukic, if we were to get him, he'd probably cost us maybe from between 15 to 20 million pounds. Obviously, that is a reasonable figure in that. But yeah, so it says reportedly there 2 strikers on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. Don't forget, I was reading reports the other week, and it actually said, we identified, Jadon Sancho and James Maddison as our number 1 priority targets for next summer. Obviously, like I said, Jadon Sancho is very young. James Maddison, of course, is very young and that. So yeah, so Solskjaer is already, making plans for the January window. Also, too, Ed Woodward, is obviously, making plans for the January window. But it's probably
like I said, it's probably likely that Solskjaer will still be at Manchester United, by Christmas. He probably still will be here, by the January transfer window. But I'm just giving you my update, of what's recently said, about Massmilanio, Allegri, that reportedly, he's our primary candidate, to replace Solskjaer if Solskjaer, is to be sacked by the football club and that. But don't forget, before we actually, recommended Solskjaer in anyway, we was in search for managers, don't forget, Pochettino was the primary candidate, at the time, obviously, at the time, after Jose Mourinho sacking, before we appointed Solskjaer in, Pochettino was the favourite, to become manager of Manchester United, and we was in for Pochettino for so long, and that, obviously, at the time, we was aware that, we'd have had to pay a commission for between 35 to 40 million pounds anywhere, to recommend, Mauricio Pochettino in to the football club, and obviously, our preference was just Solskjaer over Pochettino, and of course Zinedine Zidane, because obviously Solskjaer knows the culture of the football club. Obviously, Solskjaer knows the culture of the football club, and obviously Solskjaer, was a cheaper solution anywhere. But yeah, so yeah, would you recommend Massmilanio, Allegri in? If Solskjaer was to be sacked by Manchester United, I'd like to know your opinions there below. On this channel soon, I'm going to be doing another video soon. I will be giving you my starting 11 prediction for the game this evening against Rochdale in the Carabao Cup. As you all aware, we're doing all that Allegri and Solskjaer is going to make a lot of alterations in the squad, and obviously in this particular game, he's going to go more with the youth. He's obviously not going to rest, some of the first team. He's going to rest some of the regular first teamers and all that. But yeah, we will see about that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.